All right, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways pushing this truth in 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters, Akwathium, who believe in this gospel. So I want to entitle this lesson, This is What Black Culture Has Produced. And I got a video clip from Instagram.
Stay away from low vibrational people. They're not genuine at all.
This incredible G.
Stay away from.
In regards to this topic, right? So I'm going to go right into this clip, man. Lord willing, this video lesson is edifying.
People. They're not genuine at all. Their lifestyle is what can I do to survive? What can I do to get over on people? They're all fake. They're in survival mode, so they don't want to make real connections. They just want to see what they can gain from people. All they care about is flashing money, materialistic items, busting cheeks, and snaking people. Low vibrational people don't promote intellectualism. They promote, let's go band for band. Now, if we look at the hidden rules among social classes, right? The wealthy class invest money. Middle class manage money. Low vibrational people or people in poverty spend money. They always look to spend money. That's why you always see them flashing money. It's not real happiness. It's a plea for validation. Real happiness don't come from materialistic items or how much chicks you cracked. A street person and a female are no different. They both have low emotional maturity, so any little thing could set them off. You say the wrong thing, a shootout. You bump into the wrong crowd, a shootout. And women think that that's masculinity, but it's a plea for help. You see, street dudes grew up without a father, so they took after the traits of their mother. And that's why they're quick to react, but slow to reflect. Think about whenever you stare at a street dude, what they always say, yo, what you looking at, my nigga? It's the same energy as a woman. Low emotional maturity. That's why females are drawn to street dudes, because they share the same emotional maturity, mistaking chaos for chemistry. That's why they don't like the good guy, because peace feels boring when all you ever grew up around was dysfunction. Never assume loudness for being strong. Raised voices is an aggressive form of manipulation. It's supposed to get you scared and give them what they want. If I made anybody upset with this post, the shoe fits. Stay away from low vibrational people.
All right, so as you see, the video started off where Jake right here says, stay away from low vibrational people, right? And as you see through the video, you see basically what looks like probably, after a club on a street setting, you got a bunch of nigger women and niggas, outside looking high as hell, drunk as hell, niggas out there with their shirt off, bitches walking around with green hair, you know what I'm saying? Just that YN, YB nigga type culture, right? Now you got this nigga Adrian Broner, you know what I'm saying, sitting here hugged up with stacks of money, dancing and all that, right? And, judging off of the surface, man, a lot of people, even my experience with because you got a lot of this type of shit in St. Louis and most major cities, right? These type of people, you can very rarely have a real conversation with them. Especially when it comes to the women, you can't even have a real conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? Just the mindset of the average Jake is polluted and is basically, man, is really nothing there, man. There's nothing up there as far as in the mind. You know what I'm saying? But this is what black culture, quote unquote, has become. You know what I'm saying? This is what black culture, majority of what it is what it is. You don't see the promotion of you know, intelligent Jakes, intelligent so-called black men, intelligent so-called black women, doing various things and achieving particular things. That's not really pushed out to the forefront. A whole lot of just the drama, um, the dysfunction, the niggatry, all of that. That's the thing that Jake pushes to the forefront of, so-called Israelite or Jake society. Hell, even in the truth. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Jakes push forward this notion or this vibration of we having fun. We kicking it. You know what I'm saying? It's an Israelite party, right? And that's a vibration of destruction. That's a vibration of corruption. That's a vibration of, you know what I'm saying? If you don't get right, you're going to get judged. You know what I'm saying? But this is what we see in the forefront and the majority of what our people celebrate. Our people celebrate dysfunction. Our people celebrate niggatry. Our people celebrate, oh, we having fun. We kicking it. You know what I'm saying? We doing our thing. Right? And that's the wrong vibration and the wrong spirit to be in. Right? It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 22, starting at verse 18. Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead. In the midst of the furnace, they are even dross of silver. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because ye are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace, to blow the fire upon it, to melt it. So will I gather you in mine anger and in my fury, and I will leave you there and melt you, right? So the Lord looks at the majority of Israel as what? Dross. 2/3 of Israel is dross. Let's look into this word dross.
Strong's H5509. Sieg. Sieg.
Right? It says a moving back or away, right? It says from H572 in the sense of refuse, scoria, dross, right? And when you go into the word refuse, is usually going in the trash, right? This is the etymology for the word refuse, and it means reject, spurn, decline. It says a request, demand. It says to make refusal, right? Reject, disregard, give back, restore, return, pour back, flow back, to pour, right? So, and then when you see, like for example, here in St. Louis, the city trash trucks, the St. Louis city trash trucks, they don't say trash trucks, they say St. Louis refuse, right? But they trash trucks, right? That's what refuse is going into, right? So that's what the Lord is talking about by dross, right? The majority of Israel, 2/3 of Israel has become trash to the Lord, right? Because they're what? They're useless. They're useless. They don't serve Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. They become degenerate, caught up in the worshiping false idols, false gods, caught up in degeneracy, caught up in low lifeness. That's a word. So what is the Lord going to do? The Lord is going to, what do you do with trash? You burn it. You gather it up, put it in a pile, and you burn that shit. And that's what the Lord has done here in Babylon the Great. The Lord has gathered, Salakia, the Lord has gathered the nation of Israel here to Babylon the Great. And the Lord is going to burn 2/3 of Israel as if they were trash, right? This is the book of Sirach, chapter 14, and verse 1. It says, "Blessed is the man that hath not slipped with his mouth, and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. Blessed is he whose conscience hath not condemned him, and who was not fallen from his hope in the Lord." Right? 2/3 of Israel don't have hope in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. They don't even know Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Even if they hear the men of the Lord, the prophets on YouTube or out on the street corners, they don't know the Lord. They don't know the Lord because the Lord has already rejected them. Right? The Lord has already turned his back on them. Right? He hasn't even called them into his ministry to even have the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you being an Israelite, you have an opportunity of salvation, but you have to be called. You know what I'm saying? You have to you got to be called in order to really even have an opportunity. But 2/3 of Israel, the Lord has said in the scriptures, there shall be no cloak for their sins. Right? So they're going to hear this gospel. 2/3 of Israel is going to hear this gospel too, just like the 1/3 has. The difference is the elect of the nation of Israel, they took heed to the doctrine. They took heed to the gospel. You know what I'm saying? They listened to the prophets. They listened to the men of the Lord. They didn't scoff, mock, and be disobedient. Whereas 2/3 of Israel, they took this as a opportunity to, do whatever, disregard it, be unbelievers and all of that. This is verse 3. It says, "Riches are not comely for a niggard, and what should an envious man do with money?" Right? Like, for example, you got that dude, Adrian Broner, dancing with stacks of money and everything like that. Like, how much of a nigga do you look like dancing with stacks of money? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it don't matter how we look to these Edomites necessarily, but like to people who have money and have the mindset of keeping their money and wealth, they looking at a nigga like Adrian Broner. They looking at him like this is a fool. This is a dummy. Like, you can legally take him for all he has. And then you see a couple of months ago when he was on It Is What It Is with Cameron and Mace, the dude couldn't shut his fucking mouth, trying to holler at Stat Baby and the girl Arabia and all that. Nigga couldn't shut up, being an alcoholic and all of that, given to wine, strong drink and everything like that, right? So, and he's had a bunch of other issues, which is why he's a good boxer, but he's not one of the greats, right? And he's not one of the greats because of his nigga mentality. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong, Floyd is a nigga too, right? But Floyd is more disciplined. You know what I'm saying? You don't really see Floyd Mayweather having these issues that Adrian Broner has had. You know what I'm saying? At least Floyd has more of a disciplined mindset, unlike Adrian Broner, who he's just indulges in the flesh, indulges in niggatry. So it's the book of Ezekiel chapter 3, starting at verse 4. It says, "And he said unto me, Son of man, go, get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of an hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee." Right? So if the Lord would have sent his prophets to the heathen, to the other nations, they listen. They listen and they do, what they would take heed to what's being said and what's being brought out in the scriptures. But the scriptures say what? Israel is a stiff-necked people, right? Verse 7, "But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted." Let's look into this word impudent. So it goes into strong, stout, mighty, strong, severe, sharp, hot, firm, hard, a strong one. Basically going into being stiff-necked or hard-headed, right? Because it says what? It says it's from H2388, usually in a bad sense, hard, bold, violent, harder, hottest, impudent, loud, mighty, sore, stiff, stiff-hearted, right? Let's look it up in the etymology. It says from the Latin impudentum. It says without shame, shameless, from assimilated form of in, not, oppose of, right? So, and that's Israel to a T, right? That's Jake to a T. Jake is without shame. Jake is shameless. Jake is the ultimate nigga, simp, hoe. You know what I'm saying? Whore, YN, YB, all of that. Jake is all of that. Jake is degenerate. 2/3 of Israel, that is. Are just completely degenerate, completely devoid of shame and morality. You know what I'm saying? Because the dude said in the video, low vibrational people, their main thing, they don't want to build connections with people. They don't want to build lasting relationships with people. They just want to get what they can get from the moment, for the moment. And you see a lot of niggas like that. That's why, when you come into this truth, it's a lot of people you just can't, you can't really associate like that. Associate with like that. Because, a lot of these people out here in the world, man, they're not, their mindset is take. What can I get? What can I gain from you? You know what I'm saying? Instead of, what value can I provide? Most people in this world, their mindset is, how can I get as much from you as I possibly can? That's why, like, when you come from, let's say you got a suburban, man or a woman, Jake, man or woman, right, coming from suburban America, and they grew up in a 2-parent household, and they didn't come from particular environments. Let's say they go to like a college or a university, and they meet people who do come from those environments. A lot of times they see that they can get taken advantage of, because people who come from those environments come from a environments of scarcity. You know what I'm saying? They come from lack. So they think that they have to take. They think that they got to get over on people. And when they see that, you have some naivete to you, or, you kind of green or whatever, whatever people want to call it. Those kind of people, they want to take full advantage of that. I even experienced that in high school. I don't come from suburban America, but I do come from a two-parent household, and I wasn't, you know, call Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. I was raised in a household where, you don't just look to take you don't just look to take advantage of people. You know what I'm saying? That's not the kind of household I was raised in. So I've never had that kind of mindset, especially going into my adulthood. I've never had the mindset to just want to take advantage of somebody. Or if I see somebody that's weaker than me, I want to use that person for my own gain. Like I've never been that kind of person to consciously think like that. But you got a lot of people who do think like that on a conscious level, and look for that too, right? Like certain people, when you meet them, you know, you can sense it now that we're older, especially now us being in this truth. But certain people you meet, they kind of trying to size you up and see how they can take you or not, right? Which is why I'm always, when I meet particular new people, I'm always kind of like, I'm not rude, I'm not an asshole, but I'm like, it's a standoff type of vibe in my demeanor. It's like, nigga, I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Brothers, we even talk about that. We don't know these people out here, man. They could be up to anything. They can have any kind of mindset. So you don't want to really, put yourself in a position to be taken advantage of, trying to be nice, trying to help people out. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be that kind of person, because these niggas and these people will take advantage of you. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, starting in verse 22. It says, "Therefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for mine holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went, and I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them, and the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, saith the Lord Yahweh, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the heathen, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean from all your filthiness and from all your idols, and I will cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in mine statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your power." Right? So the Lord is going to cleanse us. Right? Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah is going to cleanse us of our filthiness, of our iniquities, of our sins. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Shah already came as a sacrifice for the atonement of our sins. But when we get into the kingdom, the Lord is going to put his spirit up in us. Call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. I just seen the truck say 144 on it. The truck number was 144, right? But the Lord is going to put and implant his spirit within us. So in the kingdom, we're going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be perfect. And it's in it's not in East St. Louis, but it's in Sauget, Illinois. It's like a little bit south of East St. Louis, right? And it's a club with a bunch of it's a club full of 2/3. All these clubs and and all this stuff is full of 2/3. But like, this is just niggas. You know what I'm saying? You can have a good old ratchet ass time if you're going there. But you know what I'm saying? It's just nothing but niggas, hood rat hoes, bitches. You know what I'm saying? Is that type of vibe and energy in that club, right? And we was just looking, and I can't remember if it was me or if it was one of the brothers. We was just like, man, the crazy part about weed smoke, you know, we was like, the crazy part about this is all these jakes is gonna be righteous in the kingdom. All these niggas that we see out here looking wild and crazy, degenerate, you know what I'm saying? Nigga walking, slouching around, got gold teeth, drinking a Long Island iced tea. You know what I'm saying? All of these niggas and all of these ratchet hoes that was in this club, they gonna be righteous in the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? They gonna get new bodies. Of course, they're gonna be born through the elect. They're gonna get new bodies. They're gonna keep the laws perfectly. They're gonna have a completely righteous mindset. You know what I'm saying? All these niggas that we see, all this ratchet shit that we seeing right here, it's gonna be cleaned up. You know what I mean? It's gonna be cleaned up, right? And that's the day that we're looking for, right? But as of right now, on this side, man, 2/3 of Jake, 2/3 of Israel is going to be destroyed for, you know what I'm saying, they filthiness. It's going to be destroyed for wickedness, degeneracy, immorality, and just ultimately just being completely against the scriptures. All right, so with that, man, Lord willing, this video lesson was edifying, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Chakodash.